For once, we're doing a reaction video that doesn't involve Gene Simmons. Mark this day down in recent history, at least. A lot of it's been Gene, Paul, the rest of the guys at Kiss. Twisted Sister, though, they're a classic band also, and JJ French, who is their guitar player, has gone on record to state, and actually this is a reiteration of something he had said before, that any classic band that releases a new record is an idiot for playing it. So essentially you make this brand new record just for your health. Just because you can, because you're a classic band. You shouldn't perform it live, though. You're an idiot if you do that, so. It sounds kind of asinine, especially whenever you consider some of the great albums that have come out recently. Especially the Book of Souls, for example, by Iron Maiden. You could say the same about Repentless for Slayer fans, because they have been very behind Repentless. What about Phantom Antichrist from Creator, which was one that has been released more than 20 years into their career? Maybe they're not classic enough in the eyes of JJ and the rest of Twisted Sister, who are going on 40. Let's examine this article and see if maybe this has just been taken a little bit out of context, just a little wee bit. So, during a brand new interview with Goldmine Magazine, Twisted Sister guitarist JJ, the Jet Plane French, as I will now refer to him as, once again reiterated his belief that fans are not interested in hearing new music from veteran rock artists. Might be one of the reasons why rock is dying, this perspective, this idea. There's a bit of a generational change that's going on here. We need to get people interested in this stuff again, is basically what I'm saying. And really, a great thing to do for bands of this caliber is take a couple of young bands that you've perhaps befriended along the way, along for the ride. I understand that it's pretty neat to have a couple of songs from this, or a couple of bands from the same era on the build, but include somebody that may be fostering something for the future. You have to help what it is you are. He said, let's be honest, any classic band that releases a new record is an idiot for playing it. I mean, they can justify it all they want, but no one cares. Let me tell you, you're a bunch of stupid fools if you think that anyone gives a shit. They don't. They say they do, but they don't. So basically, what I'm getting from this is that we really want to see new records from these classic artists. We'd love to see that. And then, they do it, but we want to see just the records themselves. We want to see just the albums. We don't actually want for them to come and play the songs live or... I'm really confused by this. But anyway, let's move on. Which is why most of these classic bands make a new album, go out on a tour, start out with 5 songs from the new record. After a few weeks, there's only 2 songs on it, and then they just want to play that one new song and get it over with. Because no one knows it, no one gives a shit about it. And they're delusional to think that they do. Another delusional thing is, let's alter the arrangements and be hip. No one gives a shit about that either. If you're a great entertainer, you'll give them exactly what they want to hear, exactly how they want to hear it. That's what great entertainers do. Idiot entertainers don't do that. So basically what you're supposed to do in this situation, if you're a classic artist, which year designation, I don't know what it is. Perhaps it's like Cars and it's 25, so there's a lot of them out there in heavy metal. You're supposed to have hits that you play, in almost every show, and you just play that. You don't alter the setup all that much. It's something where this is what you do. This is your set list from now on. You deliver the goods, so to speak. You deliver your hit songs, and that's it. You make a new record that's fine and well and good for you. Did you have 80 people buy it? That's great, but if you play one of those songs, it's absolutely worthless. I think this has been taken a little bit out of context, mainly because the context sucks. There are a lot of bands out there that this could actually apply to very, very well. There's a lot of bands similar to Twisted Sister that this could apply to very, very well, considering Twisted Sister came from an era where that style of music was the top dog. That was the draw. A lot of people wanted that. And yeah, you do kind of want to have that top draw, those top draw songs, be the core element of your set. And that's basically based on the fact that those are songs that so many people know. That's why they're coming to your show. That's why they're paying, as French would later state, $200 to $300 for a ticket, which is absurd, by the way. Lower the costs a little bit, and then maybe you'll do a little bit more business, and maybe people will be a little more interested in that new stuff. The business aspect of the record companies and the concert goers and all of this other crap is part of the reason why rock is failing. Just going to throw that out there. So basically, if you're some dude, you're not here, or this is not talking about the diehards. It's not talking about those 80 people that bought that new record and hope that you play track 4 from it because that's their absolute favorite, while also playing track 8, the one from the third album that you love more than anybody else, the one that you've used as a screen name on bulletin boards on the internet for 15 goddamn years. This is basically his way of saying that you should have a pre-prescribed notion, and really bands from that generation probably ought to. There's a good chance that that's what the people want to see. But this is definitely not something that is universally applicable, and that's where I think this becomes a little bit absurd and causes a little bit of conflict in the minds of a lot of people. Imagine if Metallica went out on tour and in support of their brand new record and only played 1 or 2 songs from it, and then focused the rest of the show on playing stuff off of Ride the Lightning or Master of Puppets or the Black Album. That was it. You know, imagine if they didn't have sort of that strange little track that they throw in from time to time. It would not really feel like a Metallica show. And you can definitely bet that Metallica is going to back their new product with a lot of strength. Consider what happened after Death Magnetic. It was something that was infused into the show. Does it become the whole of the show? Does it become like The Astonishing by Dream Theater, where they play the entire experience? No. But The Astonishing is a brand new, different idea for Dream Theater. It's a concept record. It's 2.5 hours. It's something that you almost have to perform the whole entire thing in order for the fucker to make sense. So they're basically playing their whole album, their whole brand new album live, as opposed to some of the hits of the past. It's kind of almost like the reverse order. But in reality, JJ has a couple of points that are actually kind of legit. If you're a band that's been around for a long period of time, there are certain songs that you've definitely grown accustomed to playing all the time. These are the hits. These are the songs that a core of your audience knows, whether it be from past radio airplay or they're just seen as the hits that the fans enjoy the absolute most. You know, the ones that they will all constantly rant and rave about, whether it be on social media, whether it be at live shows, whenever you do interviews. You know, these are the songs that the fans respond the best to. You're always going to want to have great fan reaction tracks in your set. However, I think it's really foolhardy to think that after spending all of that time on a brand new record that you just abandon that concept, that you just abandon everything and just decide to play the hits. You definitely still have to infuse some of that new stuff in there. It's not going to get the same reaction as the old stuff because the old stuff that you've been playing has been around for 30 freaking years. A brand new song has perhaps only been out or available for a couple of months, maybe a week, all depending on when the concert is. Of course there's not going to be a triumphant reaction for it. They're not going to roll out the red carpet and act like it's come on, feel the fucking noise. Either that or The Prisoner. Either that or Sad But True or Enter Sandman or Raining Blood. You know, it's not something that happens overnight. It's something that gets built by repetition. It's something that's built by the entertainer entertaining people with song. Maybe there's something that you do during the track that causes it to be a little bit iconic. Maybe there's something that you do that gives the track a little bit more memory for somebody. For example, whenever I went to see Immortal, they performed the song Tyrants. Now, it does happen to be one of my favorite songs off of Sons of Northern Darkness. However, what made it especially interesting and very memorable was the fact that right in the middle of the song, they went to a dead stop, chatted with the crowd, spoke about the fact that it was snowing its tits off outside, that we were in an abandoned church, and all the implications that that could possibly have. That guy was there, and he knows exactly what's going on. Stupid squealy tire bastard. And it just makes that experience, which happened 4 or 5, however many years ago for me, it's something I remember to this day, and constantly will. The song will have a different meaning to me. Everything will have a bit of a different meaning based off of that one sole experience. You never know what your fan base is going to take as an iconic experience. That's where I think there's a bit of separation here. That's where I think a band such as Iron Maiden with the Book of Souls is able to perform a lot from there and get away with it. Slayer could do that with Repentless. If Black Sabbath would have released a full album instead of just an EP, they could have done the same thing for their farewell tour. Personally speaking, I think that bands that are the classic variety that decide to play it safe and don't include a couple of, bona fide surprises in their set list, I think they're actually kind of cowardly. Either that or they're selling themselves short. Now, you could be laughing your way all the way to the bank, with selling yourself short. That's fine. I'm not saying change the way that you are. You're going to go about this no matter what I say. But it's something where there could be a fan out there, even if it's just, 70 of the 2,000 that are there, that know the song, love the song, And it'll be freaking psyched that you played it. Whenever you do the same thing over and over again, there's actually a pretty darn good reason why you are where you are in your career and why your albums or your album sales, your new material, isn't being seen as such heightened, important works for the genre. That last statement, it's very poignant, it's very true, and it also helps to describe why certain scenes, why certain trends, and why certain motions, like that idea of changing up the arrangement to be hip, why those things die, why those things don't last. Because in order for it to last, to linger, you do have to take some risks, and you do have to play some things that are a bit different. But then again, there's one final argument about this. What about a classic artist from, say, the 60s in R&B? You know, somebody that's still around, still doing gigs. They haven't released all that much in the way of new material. They might not have released anything new for the past 20 years. It's all that you have is the hits. All you have is the stuff from your heyday, your powerful stuff. If you don't have new material, then you don't have an excuse. You should play exactly what the people want to hear, because that's what you've got. But if you have new material, it's definitely best to keep a couple in the set. Don't overwhelm your set with it, but at least have one or two. Principally because, even if you're an aging artist, even if this is a song that's not going to be as memorable as some of your hits, the ones that were the most successful, it still is a great selling point for your new material. And it could still be a win-loser-draw moment that showcases to a brand new array of fans that you guys are still capable of making kick-ass music. Your true fans will already know that. But even at this stage of your career, a couple of converts now and then can't hurt either.